to know who did it. You dismissed it though.
Well, it's official in Carney's Canada. Drag shows for kids are inclusivity. Pornographic material in schools is education and history. And overt anti-Christian bigotry, well, that earns you a Senate appointment to support public, peaceful Christian worship protected from government overreach. Please go to letusworship.ca. Now, this week, we got a crystal clear look at who's really driving the assault on freedom of religion, freedom of expression, and public worship in this country. And surprise, surprise, it's not fringe activists. It never really is. It's Trudeau-appointed senators and elected Liberal members of Parliament. First, let me introduce you to Dr. Christopher Wells, Justin Trudeau's newest pick to represent Alberta in the unelected Senate, a so-called diversity and inclusion expert who's made a career out of smearing Christians as dangerous bigots. This is the same man who once posted a cartoon comparing Christians to Nazis, literally showing religious figures forcing a rainbow-clad individual to kneel with Christ on the cross taking the place of a swastika. And what would get you disqualified from any sane political party gets you rewarded with a lifetime Senate seat in Trudeau's Liberal circus of the absurd. But it gets worse. Last week, Dr. Wells tweeted this. This concert should not be allowed to be held at any public-owned facility, let alone the Alberta legislature. Pull the permit like other cities have done. There should be no space for hate on any public property. Now, who is Dr. Wells talking about? Sean Fucht, an American Christian worship leader on tour in Canada. Not a political operative, not a hate preacher, a man whose crime is singing worship in public, like he's done peacefully in cities across North America, including Canada, in past years without incident. Now, he's had 6 venues cancel on him, and Antifa mobs throw smoke bombs into worship services. And with Mark Carney warming the Prime Minister's chair, worship music is now hate. You got that? Now let's contrast this with what Dr. Wells does promote. Drag shows like the Pansy Cabaret, where adult men in sequins and women's underwear perform in public venues. LGBTQ plus erotica in schools and libraries, including material that parents across the country have flagged as sexually explicit. He tweeted this. Learning about 2 LGBTQ plus issues in libraries or classrooms is not pornographic. That's an old homophobic trope. These are Canadian values. So let's sum this one up. Drag queens in public schools, Canadian values. Graphic sexual content for kids, Canadian values. Christian worship in a public park, hate. That must be banned. Now, this isn't about tolerance. It's about state-sanctioned discrimination against Christians. And it's not just coming from Trudeau's unelected Senate picks. Here's what Carney's elected Liberal MPs are saying. Liberal Shannon Maidema said, I have the utmost respect for the value of free speech, but I do not believe this event aligns with Parks Canada's core values of respect for people, equity, diversity, and inclusion or integrity. Include everybody except the Christians, I guess. MP Sean Casey from PEI chimed in with this Orwellian gem. While I fully respect the right to freedom of expression, here comes the but. I do not believe this event reflects the values of inclusivity and respect that define the city of Charlottetown or the government of Canada. Again, include everybody except the Christians. Let me translate that for you. We totally respect free speech as long as you say what we like. That's not liberal democracy. That's soft totalitarianism. These same MPs have no issue with venues for pro-Hamas Irish rappers kneecap, or sexually explicit drag shows, or public nudity at pride parades, but Sean Fucht singing Amazing Grace with a guitar, suddenly that's too radical for taxpayer-owned land. We are living in a Canada where the government doesn't just tolerate anti-Christian bias, it promotes it, it funds it, and now soft legislates it. If you care about freedom of religion, if you care about your charter rights, if you think public parks should remain public spaces for everyone, it's time to stand up. Visit letusworship.ca to sign the petition. Tell Carney and his state censorship cronies, you don't get to decide who gets to worship in public. Not in a free country, not in Canada. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Go to letusworship.ca to sign the petition in support of Christians being allowed to worship in their churches and in the public square without state overreach. Again, that's letusworship.ca.